I started giving this a name, Seven Figure Wholesale Live. It's really just like a live podcast.
Dude, it really is. A lot of people watch this. So when I went and did your like live coaching call last week and ran it, several people
They
were like,
loved it, by the way.
Yeah, everyone was like, dude, we love that shit. It's so good, it's so funny. When you guys are laughing, we're laughing. I was like, hell yeah. So I think people enjoy it. People need more. So do you know Joel Kaplan?
The name sounds familiar, but I don't think
He's
so.
Pretty big in the agency online business space. He's one of my buddies here in Denver, and he's been making for the last 2 weeks. He started making like 5 reels a day where he just bullshits on his camera basically about whatever, talk about life, business, whatever. And I like watched him. I texted him. I was like, dude, I love the videos you're putting out. And he's like, dude, yeah, thanks. And then we started talking, and we were just talking about it. He's like, he said he got 2 million views in 2 weeks, and he sent me his engagement. He had like an ungodly amount of like DMs, like 40,000 comments on like all of his posts, and like a ton of. I was like, it's kind of interesting, but everyone was saying the same thing. It's like super relatable, and people are definitely like hungry for like seeing
just people talking,
for just like people
like real conversations, not trying to
sell you,
pitch anything, or yeah. So we have Jonathan Masson, who's another dude. I'll invite him on the live because we were just talking to him. Another multi-7 figure wholesaler. I think they were at like 3 million a year a couple years ago. I don't know what they're doing now. I haven't talked to him about that, but I was just reconnecting with him, and he was talking about hiring acquisitions managers. So and doing it as a service, which is crazy because no one does that in our industry, right? No one. It's like that's like the part that I think a lot of new wholesalers get stuck at is they don't know how to hire, they don't know how to recruit, and they have this imposter syndrome around. Oh, Jonathan, what's up, dude? Can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
We're live on YouTube, by the way. We just threw you into the lion's den with us. We do this every week.
Let's go.
So we were just talking about hiring acquisitions, recruiting acquisitions. You're going to do that as a service, right?
That's the plan.
That's the plan. So maybe not like fully committed to it yet, but if you do it, heck yeah.
Let's just say the interest is surprisingly overwhelming.
So why do you think so many people fail at hiring acquisitions managers?
They probably don't have the skill set, first off.
Like, what exactly is it? Because I know for me, when people say I'm going to go hire, there's always procrastination around it. Like, I'll talk to people and they're like, yeah, I know I need to hire an acquisitions manager. And then you'll talk to them a week later. I'm like, okay, what have you done to do that? They're like, nothing. I'm like, all right, let's pull up, let's post on Wise Hire, let's get it running. And then they get a bunch of resumes. I'm like, how many have you reached out to? Well, I don't know what to say. So
well, it's such a arduous process, between running ads and then depending on where you're running ads through, dude, it's like a needle in the haystack. If you're running, for example, Indeed ads, I mean, sometimes we have to go sift through hundreds of resumes just to find somebody that is,
you want to call probably.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's like you got to have a real system in place to mine through all those to find some decent ones. And then you got to screen and interview those, have a good process for that, and then when you narrow it down, are you making the right choice?
Yeah. And you had a big, with your company, you had a big team of acquisitions. Were they in person, like in your office?
Yeah, we were doing in person. Yeah. But I got, I went through, fortunately and unfortunately, my first experience with hiring in this situation, I outsourced getting interviews. I paid somebody else to run ads and get me interviews. And I wasn't expecting this. He booked me 85 interviews in 5 days. And it was a nightmare and a blessing all at one because, I got a ton of reps and saw a lot of stuff. And
that's 17 a day.
Yeah, it was crazy. I had one girl threw up in our office.
Why'd she throw up?
She said she was nervous.
Wait, you had that many in-person interviews?
In person.
Holy shit!
So you just had a line stacked through.
Yeah, it was one after the other. Yeah. So I got a lot of reps in a very short period of time.
And how many did you end up hiring out of those 85 interviews?
I think on that round, I think we might have hired 2 or 3.
Damn.
Yeah.
Can you imagine 85 interviews to hire 2 people? So they ended up working out, I'm assuming.
The 3 that we hired, one stayed for a little while. It was kind of early on in the process for me for hiring and scaling. So I was still kind of learning at that point. I would not have hired those 3, nowadays. But, to answer your question from earlier, I think you got to go through so many applications and so many resumes. And then once you do, hopefully you pick the right 1 or 2 people. Then you got the whole, do you have a good onboarding system in place? Do you have a good training system in place to get them up to speed, get them up to KPI? It's months.
Yeah.
It's months of work.
I think that's probably the biggest thing that people think is like, they're like, I'm gonna hire this guy and he's gonna work tomorrow. And then they just keep churning through salespeople like every 3 months. I've been telling like people, I'm like, dude, you guys got to get some tenure on your team. And so you got to figure out how to get people to stick around for like 1, 2, 3, 4 years, because otherwise you're going to keep dealing with the same bullshit. People just don't know what they're doing.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of people, I think that they're going to hire somebody and they're just going to show up and it's just magically, start working.
Yeah, I agree.
Have you ever tried running Facebook ads to get acquisitions reps, Chandler?
You said speak up. I'm quiet also.
Yeah, I can hear you better now. You're fine.
Is this better? Beautiful.
Yeah.
I actually have not. However, I have a couple friends who do. They say it works really well. So I was actually thinking about doing that. But I think it works pretty well. Not like basically what I've been told.
It's gonna be like SMS blasting. Like you're gonna get a bunch of resumes. You're gonna have to go through all of them. You're gonna have to screen them. You're gonna have to go through the interviewing process. And you're right. It's a needle in a haystack. Like when I do my interviewing process, every time I've hired a rep, I feel like I have to go through 40 to 50 donkeys. Like what? I'll tell you. I think I was telling Chandler this. I was on my last round of interviews. This guy shows up, and I can't believe that I even got to the initial interview. But I just do a 15-minute screener, and he shows up, and I was like, "Hey, man, how you doing?" And he goes, "Okay." And I was like, "All right, cool, man. Where are you calling out of?" And he goes, "Yes." And I said, I was like, "Do you speak English, bro?" And he's like, I said, "Do you speak English?" He's like, "Yes." I was like, "Where are you calling out of?" He goes, "Okay." I was like, "Fuck you, dude." I just hung up. I was like, "What the hell are you doing, bro?" And I had a couple. I would say on the last round of interviews, I ended up getting a really good rep. He has already locked up. I think he's at 4 or 5 for the month already right now. Maybe a little less, but he's doing really good. Like he locked up some good contracts in his first week. And I went through a bunch of other ones, and there were 3 or 4 that I hung up on in the first 30 to 60 seconds. Like just the way that they were talking at the beginning, boom, they're gone.
Yeah.
Sorry. What were we saying?
I was gonna say one of the things that I figured out was a good way to save a bunch of time on calling people is I have a VA go and find everybody's social media, because you can weed out a ton of people by just looking at their Facebook.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
That's a good point. I've done that too.
I had this happen. There was this guy that I was about to interview, and I found him on. I just did this for some reason. I don't normally do this, but I looked him up, and his bio said something like all ego. What did it say? It said something like problem child, like kind of like he was like a Jake Paul wannabe. And I found that on his bio. I was like, oh, dude, this person's definitely not going to work. And then you see his bio, and he just looks like a little rebel, and there was nothing good about it. So that was the only time I did that. But that was immediately like, okay, yeah, I can't.
Dude, I always Google people's names. So I'm like, once I get further down the process, because I almost hired like a multi-time like convict one time. I was like, dude, this is the best.
Tell me about this.
Best salesman I've ever talked to. I was like, this guy knocked my socks off. I was like, I'll pay you $10K a month base. I don't care. And yeah, then I go and look up, and he's like, been in jail 3 times, domestic abuse, stealing 20, 50K. There's like 20 comments of him stealing like 20.
Yeah, career criminal. It wasn't a one-time mistake he made.
Yeah, no, he was a criminal. He was in Colombia, didn't have his like U.S. passport to like give us info. All kinds of sketchy shit. So Googled him. Yep, there we go.
Oh, dude, they're in Colombia, dude. Automatically, they're out, bro.
Yeah,
it's all problems out there.
I know guys down there, and yeah, it's bad time.
You can't trust them, bro. They can't be trusted.
No, slimiest of slime balls, man.
Jonathan, you gotta come on next week, and we do these every single week. We just go live and talk a little bit more about the process. You should come on if you're open around this time.
Yeah, for sure.
We were just kind of finishing up. So if you want to hop on next week, you're going to hop off if you want, bro. We just want to talk a little bit about the hiring process.
Yeah, sure. You want to talk about it anymore?
What else you got, bro? Talk about it.
Lay it on us.
Let's know what you're doing.
I can't even speak.
I don't know. Maybe we should wait till next week to announce it, huh?
Yeah, put together a process. I think it'd be cool. And come on next week. We'll talk about it, because really all we talk about is hiring and training.
Just overall.
Yeah,
you come and I'd love to have you come present it to like my group too.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I appreciate it, guys. Yeah, I'm gonna run, and y'all have fun. I'll see y'all later.
Hey, Jonathan. Peace,
all right, see you.
He said, don't hop off. He's like,
he said
bedtime lullaby baby said, don't hop off. Well, dude, so what's going on in your neck of the woods? We're talking about AI last week,
bro.
What's changing for you?
Man, big things changing for me. Nothing actually super notable over the last week. I'd say nothing's like super notable. Biggest thing we've been working on is like just really focusing on like refining sales processes and process in general. And I like always get reminded, I'm like, dude, to just get better, it's not about like doing anything different, just doing that shit better at the end of the day. Doing more of it and doing it better. There's always so many gaps when you look into what it is when you look deep into what you're doing. So I think that's the main focus for the last like few weeks. But yeah, it's been good. But I know you just went on a trip. You said that you think vacation is lame. So that's a hot take.
Dude, so I just realized, because I went to Mexico, I went to Cancun, which was one of my favorite places previously. Okay. And the things that I used to enjoy are just not as fun anymore.
Yeah.
It's like there was this guy talking to Alex Ramosi on one of his lives, and he was saying, man, like the more I do, the more I just get numb to things. And I used to love snorkeling. It's just been one of my favorite things. I thought it was so cool to be able to do that. And then I was doing in Mexico. I went with my fiance, and we're on a boat. And I was like, I'd kind of rather be working on my AI stuff right now.
Let's just take a moment of silence right there. 2 weeks ago, John was like, AI is gay.
Oh, yeah. I was 100% saying that. I actually had a brain dump.
You talked to Ren about what he's doing on his AI?
I have not, but I want to talk about that. I had an insight that I wrote down, and I was just like, honestly, the thing that makes me happy is not cheap dopamine, like going on vacations and eating Mexican food. It's all the things that help you improve every single day. Like when you're working on a process and it's working, like that's such a big thing for me, is seeing something that is improving my business, seeing my health improve, seeing my relationships improve. I get a lot more fulfillment out of that. When I was younger, it used to be all about like adventure and travel and things like that. Like that's what caused me to travel around South America. And now I'm just done with it. I'm like, dude, I just like to work. That's my thing now. And so I'll show you some of the stuff that I've been working on. I think part of the reason why that was a cool vacation and all. I spoke at an event, which was pretty cool.
Nice.
But the entire time I'm like, dude, I need to be building this, because I think that, a couple of months ago, and I've talked to a lot of people that are like this, I was AI doesn't actually do anything yet. And then 2 weeks ago, I showed you what it is doing for us. And I think it's going to automate my job, like my entire job on my sales team, down to a few hours a week, like 1 to 2 hours a week. It's going to replace 20 to 40 hours. It's already saved me 20 hours a week in time.
It's pretty crazy.
Let's see it.
Yeah, dude, let's see it.
Okay, so I showed everybody
that it saved me probably about the equivalent in different things, but yeah, it's pretty insane actually.
So I showed everybody the feedback, kind of like the version 1 of what I was working on. So now what I have it doing is I have it still analyzing every single call and giving me a focus for the next day to work on with my sales team. So if you think about it, the problem that most owners, sales managers have when they run their sales team is they get really boring. Have you ever, did you run sales for any of your businesses? I know. Yeah, you did. You ever felt like when you're running your sales training, it's just like going through the motions and people are kind of spacing out, and it's like you're doing the same thing every day.
Yeah, especially once the team gets really good.
Yeah, they're like, man, I already know all this stuff. They're thinking about they should be making phone calls and things like that. However, sales training needs to be intentional. It needs to be focused on exactly what's going to make them money right away. That's what gets them excited. It's like, okay, this is my number one weakness. This is what I need to work on. What I had to do in the past is spend the entire night listening to their calls after their day was done and go back and listen to them. And I wouldn't listen to all of them anyway. I would go 5 minutes in and be like, okay, I think this is what they need to work on the next day. Now, what I did is I think I told you I uploaded all of the top calls from my students, myself, and my team. And I said, this is the good call library. Like, go tell me what the things are that every lead has in common and every deal has in common. And so I gave it that. I gave it all of my training. I gave it my Ask Me Anything calls, my role plays, my call reviews. I gave it all of that stuff. I had to condense it so that way it's in a better format. And every call gets a report that looks like this. And so this is one of my students. This was a deal that he actually closed. And so it gives you an executive summary. So like what the overall rep score was, how well the rep performed, and how well how hot the lead was. So like the acquisition's potential. And so anything over a 7 gives a manager alert. So it's being same day priority. You need to hop in and try to get that deal across the line right away. And so like I'm watching my emails all day. Whenever I see alert, I'm like, oh shit, I need to call Michael right now and figure out what's going on with this deal. Right. From there, it goes over the condition so you can comp it. So I do like that it has that. So if you need to comp a property on the fly, you're like, okay, cool, I got it right there. Goes over the seller's asking price. So they were asking 300. He locked it up for 255, which is funny that most people are like, oh, we're 55K apart.
Dude, I see that. I'm like, bro.
Yeah. Oh, they're asking too much money, man. They're asking retail, right? And so ours does not include price it includes price flexibility, meaning do they have room to be able to go down? So like if they're underwater, obviously that doesn't, I've trained it to not flag properties that are underwater. So these are the 4 things that all of the leads that closed had in common. They all had some level of urgency. They had some level of future state and a lack of obstacles. So if you have a seller that's super motivated, but an obstacle could be somebody on title that doesn't want to sell or something like, obviously that's not going to be graded as high as somebody that doesn't have obstacles. Yeah. As the price flexibility and the openness. And then what I really care about is the rep scorecard. And so these were the 5 things that every single closed deal had in common. They had trust and the discovery. So there was trust built, and it talks about the trigger. Like they had some sort of trigger that caused them to want to sell. Paying timeline extracted in the first 4 minutes. Cost of staying. So this asked, what if it takes 6 months? And he got the seller to say, hey, that would kill us, right? Future state clarity. So got really clear on, he got an 8 out of 10 here, but he got really clear on what they wanted in the future. Anchoring and floor, commitment before close, all that good stuff. So all that's on there. It gives you the moment the deal is won or lost, and then it gives you a follow-up process. And this goes to the rep as well. So a second they get off the phone, within a minute or two, it gives a follow-up process on exactly how to close it. And then what it does is it takes these strengths and weaknesses and it puts them and goes, okay, this is what we're going to train on, consolidated with all of the other things inside. And so it's something that I've already started using for my business. We're releasing it for other people as well. We're beta testing it with like a couple of Resimply users, Go High Level users, Podio users. And I think this is going to be the future of sales training, because in the past, you had to wait until Friday and I'll review your call.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're going to get immediate coaching feedback.
Yep.
That has the exact same brain, all the coaching calls from my previous calls. And I think that's going to be how people are going to want to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And the next phase is giving them live coaching feedback.
Mm-hmm.
And so on the call, they're actually getting exactly what it's going to say.
Yeah, I like it.
That's what we're building.
Really
so
good.
I've been nerding out over it.
Bro, I love that. I actually create something kind of similar. It's not in a PDF, which I like how yours is in a PDF and it emails it. Mine just sends into Slack. It's like a closer recording chat or whatever. And it sends like a similar thing. It's definitely different. I took some things from yours that I like. Like mine covers each part of the script and it's more of like a note. It goes a little deeper in the notes. So it's like, okay, for example, like I can like show you. Let me
share
it. So the one thing is not as good yet at that I don't love. This is not as good at doing the breakdown of like, it's the rep score I gotta work on. I have it scoring out of 100 right now, which that might be too broad. Let me just pull up.
It probably is. The big thing that from what you said is you have to be careful with too much detail because they're salespeople still.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So I think I like the 10. But for me, it's like, why is this person on the call? So it's like breaks out exactly why this person's there. It's for level up. So it's current business and situation. So like, what's their business model? What's their experience, their deal volume, profit per deal, their team, their current marketing method, and each thing about all the channels they do, anything about their market, ideal end result, all the things, main gaps, pain points, alternatives they've looked into, their current process and why that won't work. What made them look into, to meta ads, for example, timeline, presentation notes, price, objections, and then how each objection, how it was handled. And then basically if it felt like based on the process we have, if it was handled well or not. And then it just goes through how the call ended and then the follow-up plan, which the follow-up plan just kind of walks through hey, similar to yours, super good. And then I like the thing I put in there is is the lead closable? And then why? Prospect
I like that.
grade. And then I just have it pull in some random notes that might be important for the CRM. And then I have it update the CRM, and then we use that. So then automatically updates the CRM, automatically tags the closers, and everything like that. So that's the basic ones. It might be a little long. It takes a minute or two to read, but dude, it's what I did was I took I had now I've got 30 of these. I took it. I haven't automated this yet, but I put it in Claude and I said, hey, take this. I want to take this information and then I want to feed it to my marketing team so that we can make better creatives to get more of these types of people on the calls with our team. Can you basically give me a prompt or put this into a document that I can send to my marketing team so they can understand exactly who we're getting and why. And then basically what it did is it made a fucking sick document that's all the pain points, all the things that are going right now. And then we're able to basically film ads and create content on that. And I was like, that's fucking pretty sick. So
I like that.
So that's been pretty cool. And then I've actually used it. So like tools for like level up, like I made like some internal like tools on our website, like an ROI calculator. So it shows the exact gap you have in your business. It shows like, and then another one's like which marketing channel works for you based on like what your would value in a marketing channel. It's kind of cool stuff, but it doesn't.
Yeah, as long as you have the data. So I just sent this to my team. Let's see if I can find this. I just sent this to my team because Austin and I were talking about what time he needs to be available to underwrite properties. He's got a newborn and he's the full-time underwriter. Obviously, we're trying to figure out a way we can automate that as well. But it shows over this year to date what time all of our leads are coming in. And so it kind of shows, okay, these are the times I need to be available. It's usually like an hour and a half lag because of the sales calls. And so
interesting.
It shows, yeah, it'd be a really cool thing for you to look at too with
that's dope. When leads come in.
Yeah, like when your leads come in, when your sales team needs to be available. If you have an outbound team that's calling leads, you would want to know that because
pickup times. I mean, you could easily get that information.
Yeah, I'm going to talk to my team tomorrow and I'm going to say, hey, if you have to go pick up your daughter from school, like make sure it's not at 4 p.m. because that's when all the leads come in. Make sure it's not at 1 p.m. You know, like it's very clear that people are doing it at their lunchtime. You see like a big spike at their lunchtime and you
like
see
when they get off work.
A big spike. It's like if they get off work and then it's like it tapers down.
Yeah.
So you see I'll show it again so you can kind of visualize what people are doing and when people are filling out the form. You got a couple weirdos that are up at midnight, but then okay, 6, 7, 8, like people are waking up. They're like, this is what I need to do today. This is my intention for the day. Kind of dies off right here, picks back up at lunch, dies back down during working hours, picks back up right when people get off work, and then starts to taper down from there.
Yeah.
All the way down to like 10 p.m.
And you got some late night scrollers.
Yeah, so you have some of those, but it gives you such a good representation. If you just have the data, it goes, okay, this is what you need to focus on.
What I think is like another good one. So like, you know how I know like for setters or outbound closers or whatever, like what I'm like my longer term vision that I want to really build out is like now that I have like all this data from like every lead, every conversation that's getting put into the CRM every day. Like, I mean, in 3 months, there's going to be fucking thousands of data points in there. There's going to be a ton of data points. And then I can have the fucking AI just be like, hey, go build a list for me, you know, my team to call of like, who's the best prospects or best possible like people who would be closing. And then that way we know if we're getting a conversation, we know we're talking to like actually good people. Whereas like what we used to do this in like a way where it was like, okay, like, you know, take notes in the CRM and then like we'd search like probate or, you know, divorce, like in Salesforce. It's good, but it's not like great. And AI would make that so much better too. So,
well, we're building that inside of we're just integrating it into our CRM and we're just using third-party platforms, but we're also developing a software. So the software is going to rank your leads from hottest to close all the way down to the bottom. And that's going to be the way that our team's calling. And so it'll, you know, you've got the 99 out of 100, you've got the 32 out of 100. And that's part of what we're building out is just a way you can look at who's going to close based on the actual lead quality. And then another thing it does really well is you can go in there and ask it, which lead channel is giving us the highest quality leads? And it will know because it's scoring them, not from a bias perspective. This is what I was talking about 2 weeks ago is if you have reps score your leads, they're going to score it based off of how they feel. Yeah. So like they hit it off with a seller that grew up in the same hometown. They're going to rate that lead a 5 out of 5 when you could have a much more motivated lead that was just closed off to them and they're going to rate it a 1 out of 5. And so this takes the human work out where there shouldn't be human work.
Yep.
You guys used to have a score.
Yeah.
It was a call grader, right?
Yep.
It was a human.
It was a human.
And you paid them full time to do that.
Yeah. Like $2,000 a month, bro.
Yeah. And
It's like
even
that's
the
like an
humans.
easy, like you don't even need that anymore, and it does it better, truthfully.
Oh, it does it way better because it listens to the entire call and it's
It has
unbiased.
the entire context. It's so insane, actually.
Yeah. The thing that's going to be useful in the future is the data points that you have. So like, I think that all of the people that are selling how to get your first deal, like that's their course, is just like, hey, we're going to teach you to get your first deal and we're going to show you this is the marketing, this is the, well, that stuff's available online. And so it's not going to be very valuable to the marketplace.
Yeah,
However,
go ahead.
the AI doesn't have access to like live calls. They don't have a call library. It doesn't have access to training that they've paid for, you know? And so I think that instead of there being real coaches in the future, it's going to be an AI. Like a lot of our mentors have already started doing. They've just gone, oh, here's my AI brain. You just go talk to it. And I think that's the future of,
honestly,
probably information.
I bet realistically, it's probably even better than talking to the real person, because think about how sometimes, have you ever given advice to someone and you're like, you maybe change your advice slightly based on their situation, and you're like, I shouldn't have probably done that.
Yeah.
Like, and you're like, I actually take that back. I'm going to say it this way. Like, you know, a day later, text them later or whatever. I do that sometimes.
I think
just because I fuck it, you know, it's like, you're just imperfect. But if this AI has access to everything, they just can spit out exactly what you'd say. Whereas like, there is value though in being able to make context to your business. That is very valuable. But what were you gonna say?
Well, I was Matt Ryder has one, and I don't know if you know who that is. He just won the school games, which is pretty cool. Nice. He was the old CEO of 7th Level.
Oh, and I remember you talking to me about him.
Inside of his school community, you can go talk to his AI mind, and it talks like him. It sounds like him. It's got his exact voice. It feels like you're on a Zoom call with Matt. It feels like you're on a phone call with him. And it gives you such in-depth feedback where if you think about, if somebody texts me and I'm in the middle of something, I'm going to give them like a quick answer. But if you have all of the data points of everything that I've ever said, it's going to go in depth on exactly what you should do. So I think it's going to be better. I think that a lot of it's funny because we both do coaching consulting, but I think this is where it's going to go. Is I think it's going to go to, there's going to be communities. People are going to want to be around people doing the same thing that they're doing, but they're going to want instant gratification, instant feedback. And that's why I built this, is it gives instant feedback. When you get off a call, it sends you a report right away. And pretty soon it's going to give you real-time feedback while you're on the call. And that's something I can only do for my sales team right now. Like I have to be on the call with them. I'm not doing anything else. And I have to coach them through how to close the deal. This thing does it. It's crazy.
It is. It really is insane. The more you fuck around with it too, it just gets better every day. Like there's always like a little bit of bugs. Like every time like what I do now in our pipeline meetings is like, we'll go through the transcript for each like hot lead just to confirm that it's like actually right and accurate. And then we just take notes, just whisper flow it into the fucking prompt and say, hey, I need to make these changes to it. Like you missed this, and then it fucking fixes it.
Yeah. No, 100%, man. And I was completely against all this stuff. I will say I'm still against AI callers. And Jonathan and I were just talking about it before this. I think that we have a long way to go before AI callers will be able to successfully, consistently close our avatar.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, even dude, for example, I called this, it's a place that's near my house. It's like a popular place, good restaurant. And I was like, it was like 6 o'clock, and I was trying to be like, hey, can we like, it's usually booked up with reservations, but sometimes you can walk in. So I called, I said, hey, is there any like walk-ins? And it was a fucking AI. And I was like, it didn't like, I was like, can you not just tell me like who's there right now? And it's like,
no, it can't.
It can't. And I was like, this is fucking lame. I'm not gonna lie. It's like a waste of time.
Yeah.
I was like annoyed, but you know.
And the problem with most of the AI callers right now is they are trained on one process and they don't learn.
Yeah.
And so I know a couple of people that are using them, and what will happen is the seller will say something like, hey, can't you guys just come out and see it? And the AI will be like, absolutely, we can come out and see it. And the wholesaler lives in Florida and the property's in North Dakota. You know, and I've seen a lot of those complaints. They're trained on one process across the board, not on their process. Yeah. And so that's part of the thing that we're trying to fit. Well, we're working on is you're going to have your own interface to train it on what you do. So it gives you coaching feedback. If you're trying to set appointments, you'll be able to tell it that's your goal, and that will feed back into like the master prompt.
Yeah.
So still sales training, still the same sales training, but you're going to tell it your objective.
Yeah, I think so. One of my friends, Amir, he has a AI calling company that, I mean, he made it for himself and then he just started taking on some other clients for it or whatever. But it's pretty good. Like, it sounds pretty good. It definitely sounds like AI, but it's got that same like brain feature where it's like learning over time and you can like teach it and give it context and whatever. I think that the main piece though is like the AI right now on the voice side, it sounds good. It sounds really good. Like, it actually does sound pretty human, but the way it talks is like not human. It's kind of like if you're talking to someone who's not paying attention to you, and they like you're like, hey man, like, you know, today I went and like did out this, and they're just like, oh, nice, like you went out and had fun today. You know, that's like kind of like, you're like, what the fuck are you even paying attention?
This is what I hear. Is somebody will say something like, yeah, you know, it's just been a lot for me to handle. And the AI pauses for like 3 seconds and it goes, yeah, I definitely hear that that's a lot to handle. And a prospect's going to be like, what the heck is this? You know, if you go role play with ChatGPT or Claude, and honestly, it sounds just like the actual role play agents. They sound the exact same, and they'll pause and yeah, I definitely see that that's a very valid point. Dude, it's so weird. So it's not there yet. I think that for the younger generation, like the TikTok fried brains, they are becoming more and more introverted, and maybe they're just socially weird and they don't like talking to people. So I think those types of people are going to want to talk to an AI over a human, and they don't want to hop on a sales call. So like, let's say you're booking a demo for a software and you just need to ask a couple of questions before you sign up. I could see that being an AI, especially for a software that's being sold mostly to younger people. You're going to hop on, it's going to ask questions. They don't even want to talk to a human. They don't like talking to humans, but our demographic is not that. We're talking about something that's sensitive, and I don't think that that's nearly ready. And I think as soon as it gets ready, it's going to get so regulated that's going to get crushed. Yeah, there's going to be AI scamming people, and then at the second that happens, they're getting crushed.
Yeah, it's going to be, AI is definitely going to scam the fuck out of people for sure.
It's probably happening right now and we don't know it.
I bet it is. Speaking of scamming the fuck out of people, it's not actually scamming them, but it is an interesting. Have you had any competition with Open Door recently on any of your deals that you've like seen? Okay. So a guy in Dallas that apparently Dallas's Open Door is pretty big in Dallas right now, but he was like, yeah, he's like, we lost like 5 deals in the last like month or two to Open Door. And he was like, they were offering crazy numbers and closing in like 2 weeks. But basically and so he said like this happened recently, and he asked the seller like, what did they tell you they would do? And so what he said, this is Open Door's pitch, is let's say but this was the example he gave me. He's like, my Novation MAO was 230. That's what my MAO was. He said they paid 260. And then what they did was they gave this person $100K cash up front in 2 weeks, and they bought the house. So I'm assuming they bought it on like seller finance or something like that, is what it sounds like. And then essentially what they did is they made a joint venture together, and we're like, hey, if you sell for 260, you'll get this much net to you essentially, or whatever. And they have like 15% fees on the back end. Yeah. But anything less, we're still taking our 15% fee. And so that's basically what Open Door is doing right now. And yeah, it's kind of interesting.
So I have had, we just don't compete with them. I think that the main reason is they have very poorly trained salespeople.
Yeah.
So I've interviewed people that have worked for Open Door. I'm like, my God, how the heck did you close any deals? First of all, they're 15, 30-minute consultations.
Yeah.
And there's Zoom calls as well. But I just have sellers. Like I've went over this with some of my students. And we'll use this not when we're up against Open Door, but when they're saying that they're bringing up competition, we'll be like, yeah, you just got to be careful with some of those bigger companies. And then we'll kind of insert whatever company they just said and loop them in with those bigger companies. It's like, Open Door, right? They're like, yeah, look up Open Door price drop house later. And the AI overview says Open Door often lowers the prices of homes that they've already purchased. And you can just go through this and it will tell you exactly what they do. And so they have such a bad reputation of price dropping on sellers that if you're up against that and you're a wholesaler or flipper, then just have them Google that. Say Open Door price drop later, and it'll show you exactly what it is.
That's what I told him. I was like, dude, just look it up.
Yeah, they're pretty easy to win against because they're infamous for doing that. And then worst case scenario, they're like, well, it still would be a higher offer even if they lower it later. Oh, well, do you need a guarantee? No, I don't need a guarantee. Cool, I'll do the same thing then. It's really hard to fight that. So you got a little sales lesson for today.
Nice. Hell yeah. What would you say right now? I've had mixed feedback from a lot of my clients. Some people are crushing it, some people are not. What are you seeing right now from the clients that you have that are doing really well right now? What are they doing well?
PBL is surprising right now like property leads right now is ripping for us. Google Ads has slowed down tremendously. Like Google Ads is doing terrible for just about everybody. Yep. There's like one or two exceptions inside my group. But it seems like the overall number of people that are searching on Google to sell their house is dropping significantly. And I think a lot of the PPL companies are using Facebook. I think that's a big one. They're using like PMax and Demand Gen, things like that, to get in front of people because people are using ChatGPT now to figure out who they should sell their house to. And I got a text from one of my students yesterday and he was like, yeah, I just got 15 leads last week from SEO and I've never gotten that. I'm like, okay, well, he must be doing something where the AI is picking up on it. And so that's a big part. I just got back from a 7-figure flipping event. A lot of people are flipping instead of wholesaling. Like a lot of that group, they just pivoted to flipping. Like we got to flip houses instead of wholesaling them. Austin wants to do it so bad. Austin's been talking to me. He's like, dude, we got to flip some more houses. I'm like, I could not be bothered to talk about the color of the kitchen cabinets, which is not what I like. And that is part of flipping.
Truthfully,
to develop a good product.
I think that's a limiting belief. I don't think you have to talk about that because you just gotta let your people ride, bro. Let them do their thing.
Dude, I flipped houses for years, bro. I hated it. I hated flipping houses.
I guess like you were like an actual flipper.
Yeah, it was.
Whereas like what my experience is like the lipstick on a pig. Like make that bitch livable and let her rock. That's the buy.
Yeah, but that's not selling as much anymore.
No, it's not. You got to make it nice.
That was crushing in 2022. Is like people just needed a house to live. They just needed a house to get into that would qualify for financing because rates were 2%. Yeah. So you would take a house that didn't qualify and just make it qualify.
Yeah, totally. It does depend on, I think like you're right. It depends on the market and the location too though.
Yeah.
And the price point.
Yeah. That's something I'm entertaining it, but I'm like, bro, you're going to have to handle all of the back end, all the design, all that stuff. Cause that's not something that I want to do.
Yeah. It also like, I wouldn't probably do it in SoCal. That would be a super hard market to do it in.
No, our criteria, we have talked about it because we will take down properties and resell them without any work. Not flipping, but wholetailing. And our criteria is we have to be able to DSCR out of it. So if for whatever reason, I like the DSCR guidelines because I think it actually protects the investor. What I mean by that is if it gets approved for a DSCR loan, it's probably an okay deal, It might not be great, but if the lender is going to lend on the rental income alone, okay, it means that there's something there. Where the reason I got my ass handed to me in 22 when I was flipping is I couldn't DSCR out of any property. None of them would cash flow, even come close to cash flowing. They were all flips in SoCal. And our criteria now is if this thing doesn't sell, the market turns hard, can we rent it out and still make money? If the answer is yes, we'll wholesale it. If the answer is no, we're not going to do it.
No, I agree with you. SoCal is a different market than any of the ones I guess I'm thinking of. For me, because over the past I'd say I guess a year, throughout the winter and whatever, I do loans to different flippers and whatever. And so I've seen basically everyone who's having success right now that's flipping is buying, and you were just at a flipping conference, obviously, I'm sure they talked about this, but was below median home price and affordable housing, not affordable housing, but the best option for an affordable option of a home. So ARV, like Dallas, Texas, for example, ARV 300 to 350.
Yeah. I heard an interesting statistic. Adam Whitney, right?
Yes.
He's the CEO of 7FF now. And he was talking about the market crash in 2008. If you just if you underwrote all your flips for a 1% drop in price per month, then you would still be okay. So even at the worst time in the market, it was still a 1% per month. So they end up dropping, I don't know, 24% over the entire country.
Yeah.
But it took from 2008 all the way to 2010. And
that's interesting. I feel keep going.
I thought it would be more too. That was the data.
That's interesting. Now, what I will say is if that's I'm assuming that's national data.
Yeah. So Vegas, I think got hit harder.
Yeah.
Parts of Florida got hit harder. Yeah.
What we saw in 2022 in Atlanta was we dropped for, I don't remember, don't quote me on the exact amount of months because it's been a while since I looked at the data, but in 2022, July to, I want to say February, we dropped 2% a month for that time period.
Wow.
Was an average median home price drop. And I know that but it's also that's aggregated across everything. I think every asset class has a different, what I noticed was a different effect basically. So that as is home that's fronting a road dropped fucking 15%.
Yeah.
And but that was immediate. That was not that was it went from here to here. Because
if you think about it, when the inventory increases drastically, immediately buyers don't have to be buyers get more picky immediately. Totally. So the houses that are undesirable become much more undesirable.
Yes.
And so if you're the houses that are on a road, the houses that need a little bit of work, bad floor plan is a big one. That's just the stuff that I don't enjoy looking at, is the floor plans and stuff like that.
No, you have to if you're gonna do it well. You're done.
If you're gonna flip.
Yeah.
I also don't know a ton of flippers that only flip that do $1 million a month.
True.
A lot of them do a lot of wholesale, and then some of the bigger companies, they do a lot more than that. They do developments, they do everything, and so I like the streamlined business of wholesaling. It's just marketing, sales, dispo. You're just moving it through the conveyor belt at all times.
Yeah.
I like it better than flipping.
Which markets are you guys seeing work the best for you right now?
The Northeast is crushing right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing too. New Jersey,
weird,
right? Dude. Also, cost per lead's pretty good up there. It's fucking on Meta right now. We're getting roughly. I mean, I'm just trying to make sure it's accurate, but probably $80 roughly. About for the KPIs I have is 15 leads to a contract. It's pretty damn good.
And there are bigger spreads out there. So it's really weird to see how people are shifting, where people are moving away from and where people are moving to, because I never would have thought that people would be moving to the Northeast.
Yeah, it seems.
That's all I was saying. It seems to be a better market.
It seems like the people are kind of moving away or to places that either got or didn't get that. So wherever people left or moved to in COVID, it's kind of the reverse thing now. It's kind of what it seems like.
Yeah, everybody left the coast and went inland during COVID. They were there was this trend going on that was, oh man, I'm paying, $5,000 a month for my house in Florida or in SoCal. And why would I do that when I could move to Texas? Why would I do that when I could move to Missouri and Idaho? And then everybody's like, wait a second, this is why these places are so cheap. And then they're like, let me go. I'm going back. And it took a couple of years for them to realize that they don't like where they live. But that is what I've seen is a couple of markets got flooded. Like Texas got flooded. Everybody, for some reason, it was just cool to move to
Denver
Texas.
Also got flooded.
Yeah, and I'm sure people are leaving now. There's more inventory. I know in Texas it's a lot.
I think it was the first year that they had negative migration here in the last like 30 years.
Wow. See? Yeah. So everybody just moved to places like, Californians moving to Denver, and they're like, wait a second, it snows here?
Yeah, they're like, cold as fuck. Wait, what?
Why would I stay here? And then they leave. And so, that's a big thing. I think a lot of people left the upstate areas and they went south. And they're like, oh, I'm going to move to Florida. And then they realized that they're a bunch of Floridians down there. And they're like, I don't like Floridians. I love Floridians, but they don't like Floridians. And so they left. I think that's the big thing that's happening. So, I've seen that working from a marketing perspective.
Are you doing deals in the Northeast, or are you just like?
Yeah, so what happened is we turned on Nationwide and we started getting deals up there, and we're like, oh, wow. And then we looked at the data and we're like, oh, this is actually really good.
Nice.
And so that's how it happened almost accidentally. We realized how easy it is to sell deals because we were thinking the Midwest is where it's at. That's the cool thing about a nationwide model is you get to pivot wherever the deals are happening. I really like that part of it. There's also a lot of problems that come with it, but that's a cool part of it.
Yeah. What would you say is the biggest like pain in the ass right now that you guys have on that? I can imagine, but I have to imagine it's like it's like every deal is kind of like a new deal on the back end. It's like doing your first, like you don't have the boots on the ground or like the process.
That part's easy.
Yeah.
That part's easy. So there's two parts. So that part is actually relatively easy. We use a nationwide title company. For the most part, that's okay. The parts that are really tough is, I was just talking to Jonathan about this. Those deals where you're like, man, I know a buyer that will overpay for this. And you don't have that anymore. So when we were in SoCal, we knew that anything that had any sort of development potential for an ADU, we had a couple of buyers that would just buy it just to put an ADU on it.
Yeah.
And so when we were primarily SoCal, we had that advantage. I knew, okay, this is luxury. Before I even send it out to my buyers, let me send it to a couple of luxury buyers and just see where I should be at with this. And they would price it out because luxury flips are an entirely different ballgame. Luxury wholesales, like $1.5 million and up. We don't have any of that in these markets. And so I remember sending a deal to a buddy that I had in San Diego, and he's like, yeah, I know. He knows the street. He knows everything. He's like, oh, so that exact property, if it was one street behind it, it would be worth 50% more. But that street, you don't have the overall view that goes all the way to the ocean. You get blocked because of the street. And so that kind of stuff, comping's a little bit harder. But I'll tell you the biggest thing. The biggest thing is any property with the ARV under $100,000 is a headache. Buyers don't want it. The sellers are the worst. They're like I'll tell you a story. The other day, just like a couple weeks ago, we had this seller, and this property was a dump. Like I should have known by the condition of the property. She didn't have water. She didn't have running water to the house. And so I was like, are you okay? Do you need anything? Do you need help with anything? So I locked it up, and then I sent her some waters to her house via DoorDash. Next day, she asked us if we can send her $28 to refill her prescription. Well, I didn't know that her prescription
was opiates.
Exactly. And so the second she got back on her drugs, she ghosted us. We sent a policeman to the house because we're like, we want to make sure she's okay. She didn't have running water. And she told the policeman to tell us that to stop calling. And like that kind of stuff happens with houses that you're getting under contract for $5,000.
Yeah.
So we never dealt with that in SoCal. When SoCal, all the sellers were, easier to work with. We don't deal with that in any market. So Austin and I were just looking at our pipeline. He's like, dude, it's so nice that all of our properties are over 180 grand. I'm dealing with reasonable sellers. When you're dealing with the $5 grand properties, like 15, 20, $30,000 deals, nobody wants them. The sellers are a nightmare. And that you get a lot more of that in your nationwide marketing. So I'd say the bigger problem is the back end with the sellers themselves and who you're actually selling to.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I feel like the couple people I know who do that, they base anything like less than like, I don't remember their exact number, but their criteria, they just don't even talk to them on the acquisition
Do you
side.
even call them?
Yeah, don't even call them. It's like less than like 10 grand house.
I think Austin just underwrites it so low that it's like, okay, if this deal does, if we send this to an investor, somebody's going to want it. But if it's too low, we won't offer on it. So if it's going to be like less than a $10,000 offer, it really doesn't make sense. We've just noticed that they almost always fall out.
Yeah,
you got to go after the higher class properties for sure.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, I will say like some of those, like one of our bigger deals we ever had was like a $20,000 purchase. It was like a 50K. At the time, it was like the biggest deal we ever did. It was like a 50K deal. We're like, damn, that's crazy.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was just a lucky deal. I mean, at the end of the day, it was in like a rural area. The market was good. We kind of got lucky.
Yeah, our biggest deals have always been the lowest priced homes in the most expensive markets. So in SoCal, if we got something for $550, it was a
home run
rip every single time because there was nothing in the market for $550. And
I agree with that.
Those things, they would absolutely rip.
Sorry, go ahead.
Orange County, it's like $700,000 price range. If we got that, it just would, because everybody wants to live there and they all just want to get something that they can buy. And so if I had the best marketing strategy ever, this would be it. I don't know of any way to do this. Maybe you can create this, but I would find markets where people really want, like where everybody wants to live. Orange County. I don't know exactly which other ones there would be, but there'd be like,
there's like a bunch of them, like Nashville, certain parts of Nashville, certain parts of Texas.
Yeah, maybe not like the entire part of Nashville.
It's like Marietta, Georgia. Like if you're in Marietta, Georgia, or Cobb County at all, like it's gonna sell.
Exactly. And then I would go for the lowest, like the cheapest properties in that area, because those areas typically don't have cheap properties.
No.
I'm not talking about somewhere that you can go where you can buy something for 150 grand. I'm talking about places that
entries 500 to $1 million.
Yeah, exactly. And I would go after just those properties. And I don't know any way to do that besides direct mail, which would be extremely expensive.
Or cold calling.
Interesting.
Cold calling.
Yeah.
AI cold calling.
A lot of research. Absolutely not, bro. I just talked to somebody that went through a lawsuit. He settled for 15 grand from cold calling.
Yeah, I had that.
Yeah, it's happening a lot more. Cold calling is going to be, as the second AI is able to start going through and cold calling a bunch of people. Oh, dude, calling in general is going to completely die, because then people are going to get 15 to 20 calls every single day because you no longer need to hire humans to do it. Calling is going to die. Like outbound cold calling is going to get crushed. As soon as that happens, if that is allowed to happen, it's going to be a huge problem.
Dude, yeah. Bro, you know what we should do? We should
start a cold call company.
No.
Run it virtual.
Wait, what'd you say?
Run it virtual.
Yeah, we should run it.
Run it virtual will be our cold call company.
We should sit down. Are you doing the AI stuff, or you have like Lane, or who's doing it for you?
Yeah, so I just spend all my time training it. I've been staying up till like 1 a.m. just training my AI. He builds. What'd you say?
I know the wave, bro. Been there.
Yeah, you just get on this like, oh my gosh, it's working so well. So you just it gets addicting. But he does all of the actual back end development stuff. So like all the emails, all the like anything that connects two things together, he does. All I do is I take all of my sales training, all the live calls. I give it to it. I give it feedback. I have it respond like I would, and I make it me. So the way that I look at it is if I just hired a sales manager that I'm going to pay 250 grand a year salary to, and I need them to do my job, what would I do? And I would just sit down and train them on everything that I do. And that's what I'm doing now. I would have them go watch all of my past trainings, and that's where most of my time is being spent right now.
Nice. Yeah.
Why do you ask? What was the point of that?
Oh no, I was just gonna say, dude, like me and my friends have been getting together like every 3 nights a week and just fucking having AI jam sessions. So
I'll join.
you
I'll
should
absolutely join.
Yeah.
I always thought it was so funny for the last, I remember in 2019 was the first time I heard Tony Robbins say there's going to be two types of businesses that use AI and businesses that don't. The businesses that don't are going to get wiped out. And I was like, yeah, okay. And so the first time I heard that, I was like, all right, how do I implement AI? And they didn't even have ChatGPT.
AI in 2019 was like enterprise level military software, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then when ChatGPT came out, I started looking at it and I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. I can use it as like a easy Google search. And that's where I stayed from the time ChatGPT opened all the way until about 2-3 months ago. And I think there's a lot of people now that are going, wait a second, this actually does things and it actually works. If you have time, I want to hear what Ren's doing because I didn't talk to him about that.
I haven't talked to him yet, but I would love to hop on a call. I've been seeing him on Facebook posting about it. I meant to text him. We should.
I know he has an entire suite of agents.
Yeah. He's got. So he did an SEO agent. I've been fucking around with SEO. So, with the landscape company, I own that now, or own a share of it. And so I've been trying to help them with the SEO and do some things on that side. And dude, like I redid the entire website. I did all the SEO, everything. I don't know exactly how it's only been 2 weeks, but here's what I can tell you is over the last 3 months, they had like 500 impressions, on like non-branded keyword search terms. I mean, it was more than that, but they only had like 1 click. And like within the last 2 weeks, we already have more than that. So,
yeah,
I was like, damn, that's pretty fucking good for an hour of my time.
Well, Lane showed me what he's building out. It's probably that. It's just writing article after article after article and just posting them all day. And so the thing that I am curious about is all of this stuff. Well, it's not that it's working right now, but how long is it going to work? Because now that somebody knows that, okay, they're going to dominate for the next 2 to 3 months. Yeah. And then once everybody else catches on to it, then it's not going to be effective at all. Google's going to catch on to it. They're going to be like, okay, we have to find AI generated content and we have to not let that rank anymore. There's going to be things like that happen. But I think the craziest part about the time we're in right now is there are things that the big companies have not caught on to yet that you could just absolutely dominate. It's like SMS back in 2018. Remember when you used to it was the Wild West? It was like a
fly rate, bro.
Yeah, I actually remember that being the case.
Yeah, it was literally. I look at a campaign. We had this was like in 2022. We went right before we finished using launch control and like cut it off and meant 600 contact. And I found our original account somehow. We still had it. And dude, I went all the way back to the first campaign and I was like just drooling. I was like, dude, 50%, 60%, 40% reply. I was like, no fucking way.
I don't even know what SMS response rates are right now.
I couldn't tell you.
I bet they're sub 20 for sure.
Yeah, dude, I get so many spam messages every day, like calls.
I don't get any of them. I think that they go to a spam folder now. I think that Apple has some sort of filter because I know that there is. I've seen it somewhere on my phone.
I actually think know what you're talking about. There's a little in the top right. There's that like thing called spam.
Yeah, spam. I just didn't know that. Look at it. I've been getting spam messages. I just didn't know.
Oh, dude, here we go. Georgia Division of Motor Vehicles. Our records indicate a pending traffic violation.
It's a scam.
Don't click on.
Don't click on that.
They're gonna come get me.
Yeah,
it's
they try to get you there.
It's from a country code +63. Definitely got someone I got to worry about.
I think that is no, it's not Mexico. I don't know. It's maybe like Ecuador or something.
Yeah,
So obviously not the DMV.
dude, obviously not the fucking Georgia DMV, dude.
You would think that they would at least get a launch control account and get some US numbers if they want to scam people like that. But I think this is the Wild West of, man, there's going to be a lot of stuff that is just absolutely crushing for 6 to 12 months. And then there's going to be a lot of regulation that comes and beats everybody up. And so I wouldn't say make your entire business model off of AI generated SEO, but you do it, use it, you know. Dude, make sure you have some other pillars for when it stops.
Doesn't take a lot of time, and you might as well be doing it if you're not.
Yeah,
good. It's interesting.
Well,
but yeah, bro.
Next week we're gonna have Jonathan come on and we'll talk about some hiring. And I just completely stopped looking at the comments. They were
we got 10% reply rate, 10.6%.
I like Thomas. I was gonna say I stopped looking at the comments because we had too many people asking dumb questions, and I was like, I don't want to look at those dumb questions. So I just stopped.
If anyone, May 29th and 30th, if we are doing the next level up event. So if you want to come, it's
in Dallas.
It's in Austin, Texas.
All right, Austin. Yeah,
Austin, Texas. John's definitely booked his plane ticket, just so you guys know.
Dude, I'm gonna go just because I love level up. But last time I went to Austin, I was not happy with the level of how Austin is.
Yeah, I've never been. I've heard it's mixed.
It's actually like LA, but in the South. It's just crackheads everywhere. But I don't know where the event is. You can do some cool things in Austin, but yeah, we should. When's the next Miami event, bro? You'll get me there every time.
Dude, it can go. We can go whenever, bro. Anytime.
Miami, or when's the next out of country event? Like in Aruba.
I would love to go. I was thinking about doing an abroad one sometime soon. What would be a good place to do an abroad one?
Like Aruba or like a Caribbean island, Curaçao, something like that.
Yeah,
I would do that. I would do that, dude. This is the thing about events. The events are cool, like going to and learning, but it's way cooler if it's in a super sick place.
Yeah,
where like when you guys did Vegas, I didn't get to go to that, but that's a cool place. The Miami event was awesome, bro. I loved the Miami event. It was like that sick house that was on the water.
Yep.
I whenever I see people and they like have these events, I'm in another mastermind too. It's like, okay, we have an event in like the middle of the country and with nothing around. Like, yeah, it's like cool, man.
Dude, I would love to do one in in Tokyo, bro. Have you been to Japan? I know it's far as fuck away.
That'd be hard. That's why I said like some Caribbean island is really close. Even like the Florida Keys, bro. The Florida Keys would be a cool place.
But dude, if you haven't been in Japan, have you?
No, I haven't. I would 100% want to go to an event in Japan. I would do that.
Japan is actually, I mean, I'm not saying I'm gonna do an event there. There's probably no way I'm doing a fucking event in Japan. However, it's fucking dope, and you should definitely go. And if you do go, tell me because I want to go too.
I'll bring you with me, dude. You can babysit my kid.
Yeah, dude.
All right.
I did jiu-jitsu last night. I know we're gonna leave, but I did jiu-jitsu last night for the first time ever.
Well, text me. I want to see how it went. I just got an alert that I have an 8 out of 10 and a hot lead on the line. So that's why I was like, oh, I gotta go. My AI sales manager's just talking to me.
Dude, better get that done. I got some shit to do too. All right. Peace, boys. See you all next week.
Bye, everybody.